on, Shan.
Come on, Shan. What are you saying, boxing, Shan?
Who have you not got? Gypsy King?
Yeah, Gypsy
round
King.
7.
Round
Round 7.
Dillian Whyte, let's go! Come on,
Anyone, whenever ready.
What do you reckon, Gypsy King?
Hey guys. But he's thinking, where is she? Why ain't she? I've seen you lot all in my comments going back even days. Oh, this aged well. What aged well? What was my prediction? Rooting for White, but Fury, KO. And if you check lives back, I said, if Tyson Fury wants to beat White, the uppercut is key. So, Tyson Fury KOs Dillian, the body snatcher Whyte, in round 6. So, this was very interesting. I actually went down to Wembley and I'll give you some footage. Capture the ambience, talk to loads of Fury fans, Whyte fans. So, yeah, it was great to, just be in the surroundings. So round 1, Whyte comes out. I got back in as Fury was doing his ring walk. So round 1, Whyte comes out. Southpaw. To Dari pennant, because as soon as I saw that, he said in my comments, I think a day or two ago, that he feels that Whyte will come out and be Southpaw, switch between Southpaw and Orthodox. And I went, nah, that isn't a good idea for Whyte. He doesn't fight Southpaw. That would be a fatality. But I gave Whyte the first round. Fury was totally shocked by the Southpaw stance, and I counted that not both of them didn't throw many shots in the first round, but Whyte threw the first. I think it was a jab to the body in the first round. I counted like 5 clean, effective shots from Whyte and 2 from Tyson Fury. Hence why I gave Whyte that round. And then in the second round, Fury comes out Southpaw, Whyte comes out Orthodox. I noticed, like I said, Whyte's gas tank, big issue, gassing out by his round. I thought he had some success being a Southpaw, but I wasn't sure, because I thought maybe he's been Southpaw so he could just land that left hook. But he reverted back to Orthodox, which I thought, yeah, he probably feels more comfortable there. Fury stepped up the pace and caught Dillian with a couple shots, but I gave Dillian Whyte round 2. But I'm not mad if you gave Fury round 2, because it was a bit tight. But I gave Dillian Whyte round 2. Dillian Whyte started to get frustrated by like ending around 2, 3 or whatever, and breathing very heavy. I said Dillian Whyte, after 5, 6 rounds, this gas engine, if he doesn't get Fury out in that, then it's curtains for him. And stamina is a big issue, which I can still see is a consistent issue. Tyson Fury stepped up the pace in round 3. And started to work Whyte out. By this time, Tyson Fury's gone back to Orthodox at this round. He starts to hit Whyte with shots to the body, jabs, keeping Whyte really at distance. He didn't really want to engage with Whyte at all. So Whyte found it very hard to get into the inside. Where Whyte didn't do well is just like, once he got frustrated, he landed one overhand right that I saw, and then he started to do this flailing thing that, that kind of Derek Chisora flailing, big swooping shots that he was missing, like big right hooks and all of that, and overhand rights. And that just expends a lot of energy. When you put that amount of force into what you perceive as going to be a power punch, and you miss the opponent or target, your energy drains. That energy bar, like in arcade games, Street Fighter starts to get less, goes from green into the red. Tyson Fury was basically just jabbing Whyte's face off, some good body shots. And what the thing is, then it got there was a clash of heads, and Whyte got a cut, I think, above his right eye. Tyson Fury was quite whingy on this, like moaning to the ref, because, Whyte was doing tactics that I've seen Tyson Fury do, forearm, elbow. Tyson Fury's done it a billion times. Tyson Fury wasn't happy about that, and that look changed, where it went from, all right, I I'm going to be mean now. It's activated. And Tyson Fury is always more dangerous when he's either pissed off. I think he fights better when he's pissed off and when he's been injured. The ref gave him a good telling off. Shouts out to that ref. I actually like that ref. I've seen him a good few times. Can't remember his name. I'm not really up on game with all the refs' names. I just see them as familiar faces for certain fights. So round 3, clash of heads or whatever. Dillian Whyte's cut, and he can't get in the inside. Tyson Fury engages bits and pieces, but Whyte is an inside fighter, maybe mid-range to inside. He can't fight really at distance. He did have Tyson Fury kind of on the back foot, but Tyson Fury was quite comfortable on the back foot as he is a good back foot fighter. He's a better boxer than Whyte overall anyway. But the thing is, Whyte showed some undue hesitancy. He would have Tyson Fury like backed up against the ropes or near the corner and literally just froze. Literally didn't do anything. It was weird. Like, what are you going to do? And Tyson Fury, I said to my mates, once he gets in a rhythm, you're not going to beat him. And you've got to disrupt his rhythm. And Dillian Whyte allowed him to stay in his rhythm. And basically, Whyte was only throwing like single shots. And I was like, that's not enough. You're going to have to unload. Like, we're going to have to see some combinations. He abandoned the bodywork, which I did see Tyson Fury wince earlier. And I was like, oh, you don't like it to the body. Most people don't. I mean, who does? Who likes being punched full stop? You know, I don't. That's why I'm doing this on the camera and I'm not in the ring. But, he abandoned the body shots and Tyson Fury then hit him with a nice left hook to the body, which is Dillian Whyte's like shot. And they started talking and like, there wasn't enough anger in there. It was too mild-tempered and mild-mannered. I didn't see any dog in him at all. And every feint that Fury, because you know Fury's the king of feints, Dillian Whyte reacted to all of them. And that is mentally tiring. And then your body follows suit. It's just like you're confused. I saw Whyte like almost like kind of flinching, like putting the guard up and every time Fury feinted, but it was a startled kind of like, wasn't really good responses. He didn't set any traps for Fury. Fury just lined him up and then Fury started 1-2 him straight through Whyte's guard. And then I thought, oh, a lot of the shots in the beginning were bouncing off Whyte's guard, but you know, sometimes people think, oh, that's a scoring shot. No, it was blocked. But then Tyson Fury was 1-2 in straight down the pipe and breaking Whyte's guard, unfortunately. So in the end, by the time it got like to round 5, I had Fury up. I had it 3-2. I'm not opposed to 4-1 for Fury, but it then got to the 5th round and I blinked, mate. I think maybe a left hook and then saw Whyte dip and I literally blinked and Whyte was on the fucking floor. And I was like, what? Then I looked at the replay and it was a swift uppercut. Now, it wasn't solid, but that's how Whyte's chin reacts. He just doesn't, like, it wasn't solid like how I've seen Whyte been landed on, like Povetkin, AJ. So it was almost like Fury kind of skimmed it. It wasn't like a skim, but it wasn't like full force, but it was enough to literally look like Whyte's lights were going to switch out. But Fury pushed him after this. Sure, if Whyte would have fell without being pushed, he may have. But if he didn't fall, he would have been still stopped because he wouldn't have known his whereabouts. But it was weird to see Tyson Fury uppercut him, right uppercut, if I'm not mistaken, and then kind of just shove him down. And Whyte was just down on the canvas. This is the only time I've seen Whyte attempt to get up from an uppercut. But I know that Dillian Whyte face also well when he's fucked up and sparked out. I know that face and I know he ain't coming back. I see that face with Povetkin. I see that face. Dillian Whyte loses consciousness on the way down from an uppercut. He light switched straight off. There's nothing you can do about that shot. That's just his Achilles heel. That's just his kryptonite. And I said, if Fury wants to beat Whyte, an uppercut. point blank and a period. White props for getting up. And I gave the ref, I was so happy that the ref knows it's an important fight. A lot of refs would have just waved it off as soon as White hit the canvas. But the ref I think the ref, because he saw the shove as well, I think the ref said, let's see, like, if he gets up in the count, which White did. He barely made it. And then, but he just couldn't, he fell, like, he fell against the ref, like, and the ref was really nice. And he was just like, no. And it's done. Was that an easy win for Fury? Yes. Can I see pros in his win? Yes. Can I see cons in his win? Yes. Can I see pros in Dillian Whyte? Yes. Can I see cons in them? Yes. Dillian Whyte's footwork, I've always called it out. It's never good. He's from a kickboxing background, and kickboxers, when they convert into boxing, their footwork is less to be desired for. It's just not great. Whyte improved since I first saw him years ago. Yes, to a certain degree. He's become able to box a little better. And where he went wrong, he did what AJ did. And he called AJ out on it. And this is what I find amazing. Dillian Whyte didn't impose his will on Tyson Fury. It was a little roughhousing, not much. Tyson Fury pretty much controlled the pace. I didn't see the dog in him. Dillian Whyte tried to box the boxer. Why are you trying to box the boxer? You're not a better boxer than Tyson Fury. I give AJ props that he still won like 4 rounds against Usyk. Like, he's from Olympian stock, so you'd imagine that he can do some boxing like that. Do you understand? But still don't try and outbox a superior boxer. Dillian Whyte's only had 7 amateur fights, and he's come a long way. I just didn't understand what the game plan, Dillian Whyte's game plan was. You could clearly see what Tyson Fury's game plan was. It was just basically to outbox Dillian Whyte and keep him at distance and don't really let him in the inside. And when he did, counter him and maul him and lean on him, Tyson Fury style. You can't outbox Tyson Fury. Dillian Whyte is not good. But what this is made me see, I can see the pros and the cons. He's never going to be able to get away from being beaten by an uppercut. They say certain other heavyweights are chinny. AJ's chinny. No, he's not. AJ's equilibrium shot with most boxers go down. AJ still got up. I've seen other boxers still get up. I've seen AJ been hit by an uppercut and it's not floored him. Dillian Whyte can't escape the uppercut. It's amazing that this just switches off his lights. Just does. What amount of training that you do, you can't train to... If you can't take an uppercut, you can't take an uppercut. What you can train to do is try and evade them, which Dillian Whyte has obviously evaded quite a few. But you've got to learn to not fall into that trap every single time. Every time he's been knocked out, it's been by the same shot. Yeah, I think... Did Povetkin, was it a left uppercut? Or was it a right? I know Joshua was a right. Fury was a right. He's got to do something to try and evade that. But you've got to have the boxing fundamentals, the footwork and the ring IQ to be able to suss these types of things. Because Tyson Fury was so quick, witty, sly, cunning, genius in certain aspects of it. I didn't think we'd see the Tyson Fury of old, but he definitely showed me. I would have liked to see how the fight progressed, but what I've unfortunately realised is, and you call a spade, and Dillian Whyte has come an amazing long way from being a roadman to a multi-millionaire. There's no shame in his game. I like people to keep the same energy. When Wilder lost back-to-back to Tyson Fury, people said, well, there's no shame in Deontay Wilder losing to the number 1 heavyweight in the division, then keep the same energy. There's no shame that Dillian Whyte lost arguably to the best heavyweight in the division on paper. So it's either, if Wilder was a laughing stock because he lost to Fury, then Dillian Whyte's a laughing stock. If Wilder's the best thing since sliced bread, losing back-to-back to Fury, but he's got heart. Then Dillian Whyte has definitely got heart, and there's no shame losing to number 1. He didn't lose to number 10. He didn't lose to number 15. Do you understand what I'm saying? I've seen that are not, always deemed elite. Dillian Dillian Whyte's had, I think, like a 10-11 winning spree until the Povetkin loss, and automatically vindicated himself. I can critique that, and there's variables that are in that, but I think at the time I did it, rest in peace Pro Bees, because I think I discussed that on his show. But this leads me to say that Dillian Whyte is not an elite. He's not at elite level. AJ finished him in 7 rounds when they was like literally prime for prime. AJ's slightly younger than these lot. Same level, raw. AJ coming off an amateur loss from Whyte and beat him in 7. You could put a con that Tyson Fury, it took him 6 rounds to get rid of Whyte, but it's Whyte clearly that's 34, technically leaving out of his prime. Long one, because I'm putting everything all together. I can't be bothered to do like 20 million videos on it. Yeah, so you've got to respect others, like common opponents. So that's a common opponent that Tyson Fury has with Anthony Joshua. You know, they've got Klitschko as a common opponent. Tyson Fury went the distance, broke his reign. Respect for that. Anthony Joshua fought him 17 months later and got floored, and then nearly lifted his whole head off his neck in the 11th round and stopped him, which was a great fight. I think that was a better fight to watch, to be honest. More competitive in a way, of just more action-packed. And the finish was amazing. Then, you know, go the distance. I've seen a clinch fest, you know, jab, clinch. Both of them are like that, Fury and Klitschko in that fight. And, you know, another common opponent that you've got is Dillian Whyte. I mean, shouts out to Dillian Whyte because he's fought a lot of people. His resumes, I like his resume. It's a very good resume, in my opinion. It's a better You guys want to put Klitschko, yep, cool. But you guys want to put Deontay Wilder as something as great to have on a resume 3 times, and then like Dillian Whyte, if Tyson Fury on paper is the number 1 heavyweight, he's undefeated, sure. Is he the best heavyweight? I really think it's Usyk, undisputed and undefeated, and in less amount of time, and a 2-weight world champion. I would like to call Tyson Fury a best of an era. I would call him that if he undisputes. All of the legends have been undisputed. 3-belt era. We're in the 4-belt era, so you've got to play by the rules. If you don't fight and beat Joshua and Usyk, I can't call you the best of all time. How much Tyson Fury harping about Deontay Wilder's number 2, he's the second. We know that that's a load of bullshit. You have to do that to try and make your win fighting him 3 times. It makes yourself look better. No matter how much you sing it, it's and try force it down our throats. The sane people and the logical people know this, but the fanboys don't, and they will go along with this. There's no way in hell that Deontay Wilder is the second best heavyweight under Tyson Fury. There's just no way you can be ahead of a 2-time unified heavyweight champion as in Joshua. There's no way. It just doesn't make sense, as you can see. Doesn't make sense. There's no way that you can say that Deontay Wilder is above Alexander Usyk, who is a 2-division world champ, undisputed, undefeated, and unified heavyweight champion. It's a no for me like that. Like I said, the pros and cons. Congratulations to Tyson Fury. With the Brits have still got their the heavyweight division on lock. And I think it will stay like that for a hot minute. But until Tyson Fury proves that he's the best of an era, I can't give him that best of an era, because you have to beat number 2 and number 3 and number 4. Beat a Joe Joyce as well. Like, who Anthony Joshua's fought and Dillian Whyte, like Tyson Fury hasn't fought the majority of them at all. I don't care if you want to say, oh, but he would beat them. How do you know? Styles makes fights. We've got to see it. We're not just going by it like, oh, I could have leaped over 2 fucking buildings. Oh, I could have swam the English Channel. How do we know, Shan? Oh, no, just believe me. Because I'm a good swimmer, I know I could do it. No, you got to prove it. Shan, show us that you can fucking swim the English Channel. Do you understand what I'm saying? Fuck this eye test Tyson shit. Was the best in his era because he proved it. And he was like unified heavyweight champ. He was the youngest heavyweight champ, undisputed. He undisputed. He was in a 3-belt era. He undisputed. Lennox Lewis, undisputed. He proved it. Even Hasim Rahman, undisputed. He proved it. You know, Muhammad Ali, undisputed. He proved it. Like, you got to prove it. You can't go by, oh, I think he just beats him, so he doesn't need to fight him. No, that doesn't fly with me. And if it flies with you, cool. And if that does fly with you, I think you should unsubscribe to my channel, because that defines you as a fanboy and not a fan of the sport, but fan of a mere mortal, to be honest. Like, so I'd like people like that with that train of thought. Please don't watch my videos anymore. Please don't subscribe, and please don't comment with fanboy shit, because I'll just block you. See, that's how boxing is proved on who's the best, because you fight the best. I'm not saying Tyson Fury has to fight anyone out of the... Clean up the top 5. You're the best then. I'll be saying, there's only one Tyson Fury. Myself, do you understand? I give credit where credit is due. Yeah, I got a lot of shouts out to all the fans that were at Wembley and all the love that was surrounding. I had a good time being at Wembley. I will put some footage later. Definitely, I will show you predictions and fan ambiance and stuff like that. But yeah, congratulations to the Gypsy King Tyson Fury. He's announced his retirement. We'll talk about that on another video. But congratulations, Tyson Fury boots and KOs Dillian Whyte in 6 rounds. Anyway, I'm gone. Hey girl, it's LadyChann, rep nonetheless. Come box with CHANN. Come box with CHANN. Gyan. Congratulations to Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury. Gyan.